Welcome to For the Record, a podcast by the Delaware State Senate Republican Caucus, hosted by Senator Brian Pettyjohn, Senator Eric Buckson, Chief of Staff Deanna Killen, and Communications Director Matt Revel. This is For the Record.
We've had people curse on here before. I won't mention any names, but we have.
I said buttocks.
Did you like how I slid over in the clip?
I was watching the clip last week. I'm like,
doggone it.
So this is probably going to be a little abbreviated of an episode because really something worth celebrating. Deanna's son is in the Blue Gold All-Star football game.
That is,
go there early.
That is awesome.
That's
awesome.
Yeah, I'll get there.
Don't get there at game time. Get there a little early.
Yep, I will. Yep.
Yeah, so
my husband's already
it's
there.
really
so
fun.
He's got
it's fun.
Seat saved and all that, so we're good.
Of course, he probably got there like 5 hours early.
He did, actually.
Knowing
but he had to.
Pretty sure you're going to have good seats, but just take it all in.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Unless 22,000 are showing up to pack that. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, no, it'll be a fun night. All right, well, let's go ahead and start off with something that actually Senator Pettyjohn was just telling us that Matt and I were just shocked by. This week.
This is live reaction for Eric.
Yeah, Eric has. This is his first time hearing it. So I'm just going to give the whole little story. Representative Pulaski had drafted a resolution basically celebrating America 250. Mm-hmm. They wouldn't run it in the House, so he asked if you would run it in the Senate.
Yes.
You said sure.
Yeah.
So
wait a minute. Now you're really triggering me.
No, it gets better. Just wait.
Just wait.
This isn't even the bad part.
There's more.
So basically, it just gave a history of of how we got to where we are in America.
The good and the bad.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So when I saw it, I did think, okay, I want this to pass the Senate and the House, so I'm going to go through and make some changes and make it a little bit more, tone it down just a little bit.
There was some red meat in there in the original version. Is that what it was? Okay.
Yeah.
There was.
But,
so I could say originally I could understand that reaction. But then we redid it, and I thought, okay, this is great. I even ran it through AI and said, hey, this is the final version. Is there anything in here that would be offensive to a Democrat or a Republican? That's how much I wanted to make sure it was even keel.
Did you ask if it was offensive to a socialist?
I did not.
See,
I guess I gotta start doing that because apparently, So, pass the Senate.
Yeah.
Unanimously today.
Yeah.
And Senator Pettyjohn was
yesterday.
Was it yesterday? It was yesterday.
It was yesterday. Yeah.
But I guess Senator Pettyjohn just informed us that the House would not run it because it was too offensive.
Where's the bill?
I got it.
I mean that's not good.
And it's not. It's not offensive at all.
Where's the bill?
Right there. It's a resolution.
Like I was reading through it. I don't see anything in there that could be.
And represent. I was down.
I intentionally took everything out that I knew would cause an issue. Yeah. So I honestly don't know what the issue. There's one thing in there that says that America's a great nation. So maybe that's the thing that's offensive. I don't know.
That's horrible, though. Yeah. It's not funny, man. That's bad.
Oh no, agreed.
It's one of those things you have to laugh at just because it's so
because
absurd.
It's so crazy.
Right. Because here's the first. My first. Now I'm getting. We can laugh about whatever, and you're not wrong to do that. But my first thought was, we're dancing around our nation's history to make sure that it's palatable in 2026.
I know,
and that to me sucks because we got to embrace the greatness. If you can't get home cooking at home, where are you going to get it? We should be celebrating.
Brian tried.
Right now, there are people that are here for the first time in the United States for the World Cup. Mm-hmm. And, social media is full of those people saying just how wonderful the country is. They had no idea.
Bring me to that utopian country that was formed, I don't know, as just a kumbaya. Because that's not out there, I don't think.
No.
I don't think if you look through every civilization, unfortunately, you're going to find stuff that was challenging. Mm-hmm. But I don't think anything can present itself better than what the Founding Fathers and what has been on over 250 years. And it's fascinating to me. And we look at it and say, we got to live in apologetic, let me preface first, I love but let me first explain, I know we're not perfect. Well, that's bullcrap. I'm sick of that. Mm-hmm. We're the United States of America, baby.
Right.
If you don't like it, I'm sorry, but this is pretty good stuff.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I said on the floor of the Senate, we've made our mistakes as a country. We learned. We're still the great experiment. Mm-hmm. To this day, 250 years later, we're still the great experiment. Yeah. But there has never been a more benevolent nation on this earth than the United States of America. We help anybody and everybody, even our enemies.
You know what? You're so right. And make America great. Okay, you get triggered by it. But I'll tell you what, we are great. Well, tell me when we were great. I said, you tell me the worst time in America. And then you look past that and you'll see when we were great. Mm-hmm. In moments where it was bad, this country, through its founding document and constitution and its leaders.
And its people.
And its people, through the document, found ways, more importantly, you're right, through the people, found ways to right the wrongs. Yeah. That's the history. That's what makes us great. Pick the worst moment, right? Mm-hmm. And look at what was done over time, not instantaneously, over time, to walk away from that. And that's the problem we have in 2026, is that we have folks that, I don't know, they just want to... 1965 was a very difficult time in our country.
Mm-hmm. It was.
We want folks living in 26, they want to act like they've seen it worse. Mm-hmm. You know, like 2026 is far worse. And I'm like, you got to be kidding me. Mm-hmm. You have folks alive today that went through heck and back.
Right.
Yeah.
We should be celebrating that in the country.
Yeah. Let's link this. Let's link this and let people read it for themselves and come to their own conclusion.
Comment. Is it so offensive? Mm-hmm. I would love to hear from everybody, and I know we have a very wide range of viewers that are that look at this podcast. I would really like to know what is so offensive about this resolution. And look, we get some good feedback on it. Contact your House of Representative members and say, "Come on, guys,"
because it's not dead. They just didn't run it.
They just didn't run it. So they didn't run after it passed the Senate unanimously.
Mm-hmm. In fairness, it looks like you've got more than just, you've got a few, we've got senators all throughout, but then you've got some Democrats.
Yeah, there were. It is bipartisan.
There were Democrats.
So it's clearly a couple of members who are offended by it, and they pulled it for them. That's what we do here.
And that's what we got here. That's what I want to appreciate. It's not, regrettably, it's what you're dealing with. Mm-hmm. There are plenty of folks from the other side of the party that would not have a problem with this at all, but they're being hijacked by a section of the party that's making demands, and they're not willing to stand up to them, and that's a shame.
Yep.
Do we know what they say?
I mean, I just talked to Representative Holofsky very briefly on the floor. I was telling him about the veterans awareness, the suicide awareness. I gave him a copy of that and let him know it was on its way over, but that's when he told me that they were not going to run Senate Concurrent Resolution 250.
That's shocking.
Because it was too offensive.
Yeah.
Did they run the?
I don't know. I don't know what they've run over there. I was flabbergasted as well.
That might actually be a good just separate post on its own. Post the resolution and say, hey, let's take a poll here. Is this offensive?
Line 17. I mean, 13 colonies into a united republic grounded in democracy, freedom, liberty, and self-governance. I would say to the Democrat socialists, that's probably what they found offensive. Because they agree with none of that.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Somebody needs to look up. Did they run the resolution that we run in the Senate that designates July as American Patriotism Month?
Can you look that up, Blake? He had a resolution for American Patriotism Month.
I think it was myself and him.
See if that passed.
I think it was,
And I say that because
I think I saw it on a consent.
The first time we tried to run that thing, they had the same problem. Mm-hmm. Now, in defense, they identified some things that, in the world of the Internet get attached to things that we're unaware of, so we did make some changes. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Right? This had the same tone, I felt, so I don't understand. Yeah. But let's go ahead and move on to some of this because I got to get out of here.
Yeah, you get it out.
So today, the Senate passed the budget. I did want to comment because we talked about this last week and you were unsure, so I did get clarification from the Comptroller General's office that in the budget there is a 2% increase for retirees on their pension that retired before July 1st, 2006.
Okay.
A 1% increase for those who retired between July 1st, 2006 and June 30th, 2021.
Okay.
Yes,
Anyone who is retired after July 1st, 2021 does not get an increase.
Okay.
So I just wanted people to know that.
Okay.
So
and I retired July 1st, 2021.
So you're out a lot. July 1st, really?
Yeah, the year ends 30th.
It was the Buckson carve out.
Yeah.
They literally that's aimed at you, I believe. They're like, okay, when did Buckson retire? Let's make it so that's when it's cut off.
Hilarious.
Yep. Okay, another bill that passed the Senate today is SB 284, which was yours, which is the First State Emergency Response Act. Creates a new crime for interfering with and threatening first responders.
Yeah, real simple. I think it's a good bill, right?
Yeah,
you got first responders, not just police, but all first responders.
Bipartisan.
On a scene, and, we're just telling folks you can't come on scene and act like you own it. They're working. They're there helping somebody at maybe their worst time, and you don't get the right to invade a personal space for the purpose of getting a better view or to do stuff you're not supposed to be doing.
Trouble, right?
And I just got tired of seeing it on, you'd see it on video clips and people's cell phones. It doesn't stop folks from showing up.
No.
You want to watch. 25 feet away. That's actually not that far away.
It's not.
So
yeah, people.
No, it was a good bill. It was a good bill.
You had a few Dems, I think, sign on from the floor, right?
Senator Sokola signed on.
Yes, he
Pro
did.
tem. Yeah.
Gave him credit for that.
Yeah, a couple things that are on the House agenda today. They're in right now, so some of this may have already passed. Just thought it's information that y'all might want to know. HB 471, you're actually the sponsor here in the House with Rep. Harris, cracks down on unauthorized ATVs and off-highway vehicle use on private property and shared private roads. Did that come about for a specific reason, or?
So it includes the electric bites and challenges that we're seeing now with this evolution of, younger and younger folks using basically what you would expect to be a motor vehicle because of the speed that they're carrying and the ease at which they're carrying it. So now you're having pedestrian injuries, you're having juveniles that are getting injured, you're having automobile accidents because they're engaged with this. It was more of a groundswell there was a tragic event that occurred in a neighborhood that we shared.
I do remember that.
And that led to a broader conversation with police that led to a broader statewide conversation that, this is a problem that's growing, not just in that singular event, but throughout the state.
Okay.
So that's why. Because at first I'm like, look, this is one singular event. You got to be careful regulating. But I think it's pretty clear and obvious now. It's the speed. That's what it is.
Yeah, so that's on the House agenda today. Another bill on the House agenda today. I think this has been tweaked a little because the first bill, I think, outlawed these altogether for minors. But HB 459, Representative Neal, prohibits sale of energy drinks on public, middle, and high school campuses during school hour and school events. I think originally the original bill came out was just making it so a minor couldn't buy them.
Right.
I don't know if that bill may still be sitting out there. Maybe this is a different bill. But I actually agree with this bill. I don't think we should be selling energy drinks in schools. That's just my opinion.
What do they consider an energy drink, though?
Now, they did have a carve out. They said it does not mean like anything brewed, so nothing like coffee or tea. Just like an actual
like
energy drink.
Drinks,
right. Like My Alani down here or a Monster. Yeah. And I agree. I don't think we should be selling that at school.
Yeah, probably not.
They created a separate bill that basically try and think how to word it because I was just reading it not long ago. Basically, similar to Senator Richardson's human trafficking signage bill, I think this other bill that Representative Neal came up with would have store owners or like convenience stores have signage just saying this is the dangers that caffeine presents or can present maybe to younger individuals.
I mean, it's written on the can.
I don't know what the number is. I do remember reading about it.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, so that's in the House as well. Another thing I wanted to mention, because this was a big deal back during COVID, so I just wanted people to know, and Blake, if you could look, 'cause I'm curious to see if this has passed yet. It had not when we first started. HS1 for HB 329, this is Representative Collins. Remember back when the governor, Governor Carney put the emergency, state of emergency in place.
Yep.
Yeah, so there was a lot of talk about that the General Assembly was kind of cut out of that decision-making process. So this bill is going to limit, it's going to place additional limits on legislative oversight on a governor's emergency powers. So it allows the governor to declare a state of emergency and keep it in effect for up to 180 days, 120 days plus 160-day renewal. And then after that, it would have to come back to the General Assembly.
I heard that there was some kind of deal that was brokered to make sure that bill got passed over there.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think it makes sense. I mean,
it does. I mean, the power of government rests in the people, which means it rests in the General Assembly. And, the executive does have a lot of power, whether it's federal or state. That's a co-equal branch of government. But when you do have these states of emergency, the executive branch can override or suspend certain laws, certain provisions that the General Assembly enacted, to do whatever, to protect the people, to protect rights, and I think there should be some type of box that the executive branch, that the governor should operate when there is a state of emergency, and we saw that not just here in Delaware but other places, during COVID, and we've seen it other times as well.
And this isn't geared towards Carney because he's not even in office anymore. I think this is good policy. Yeah.
So the irony is that one of the first bills that I ran and actually ended up passing was a bill that basically was that and is that. The difference is that in law, passed, I think when Carney was lieutenant governor, was legislation that basically said that there's an emergency council.
Yes. Yep.
And the emergency council is XYZ, and during something happens, they're to convene to basically be that group that kind of makes decisions instead of the governor closing the door with a few select folks. Well, it was never implemented during COVID. So I ran the legislation.
If I remember, I don't think it ever met. Wasn't that
it never
one of the
met.
things?
It never got constituted.
Yeah.
And so here's the problem. It probably still hasn't. But what we did was we added X amount of members. We added language that said it goes for longer than 30 days. Because you want the executive branch to be nimble somewhat. I mean, if they need to make a quick decision, they should. Longer than 30 days, has to convene, has to do a report. We probably should look into where that thing is.
Yeah.
If I remember, man. Remind me, somebody.
Has that passed yet, Blake?
It so far has no committee reports or roll calls.
Well, if you look at the agenda, it'll tell you if it's passed or not yet.
Well, no committee reports, so it had been.
It's on the agenda today.
Really?
Yeah. Well, he might be looking at the original bill, or actually, if you're looking at the substitute, yes. If you're looking at this is kind of the way that the website works. If a bill is substituted, if you look at the substitute bill online, it doesn't show the committee report if it was released after.
Oh, okay,
so
gotcha.
the committee report will be under HB 329 itself.
Okay.
Does that make sense? Yeah.
Yep.
So I'm thinking they're probably saving that till last. It probably hasn't passed yet.
Yeah.
A couple of things that made it out of House Committee yesterday that we need to be looking out for.
Yep.
The constitutional amendment we discussed last week, where it basically allows a referendum to the public for them to pass or vote on it. That made it out of committee. The bill, which I think a lot of people might appreciate, is Senator Brown's bill, SB 268, that provides interest-free loans to federal employees during a government shutdown.
Okay.
That has kind of come about because of how long government shutdowns are lasting now. Before
And more frequent.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So, and then SB 312, which this is kind of, I think everyone agrees with this, but I could be wrong. Prohibit state agencies, counties, and municipalities from entering into NDAs, non-disclosure agreements, that would restrict. That has to do with data centers.
Right. Honestly, unless it's a legal issue or something like that, there should be no NDAs.
Right. I agree.
That are entered onto by public entities.
Nope, I agree that we should be
Transparency.
transparent. The people should know what's happening.
Yep.
I did want to do an update on Skip the Stuff Act because we talked about that last week. We did notice today that they had.
Committee.
Yes, it was in committee. They did add an amendment to that.
Right.
So now they are allowed to ask you, would you like a fork? And then the customer has to explicitly say yes.
They just can't put a fork in the bag and send it. They have to.
Right.
Would you like a fork
Right.
with that? Would you like a
I'm
knife
sure
with
this
that?
probably came about because they got some grief about
You
how
think?
dumb it was. And so
First Amendment, anybody? You
Yeah.
can't ask a customer a question. Would you like?
And you said that afterwards.
Yeah.
Isn't that like First Amendment
Yeah.
issues here?
Yeah.
Which I didn't even think about that.
No soup for you.
I mean, I know Senator Buckson, you made the comment that it was like a, well, I don't think you used this term, but it was a feel-good bill initially. Like, this kind of literally makes it one.
Yeah, because it.
Like, does nothing.
It's ribbon cutting. We're
Oh,
good
no,
at it.
That's it. Ribbon.
the-
I mean, there's still penalties if they,
Yeah.
throw them in there without asking or being asked or whatever. But
The Senate sponsor in committee today actually said this is a business-friendly bill.
he did, because the businesses are going to save money by not throwing that stuff in every bag.
Yeah.
God,
Yeah.
that is
I
a
know.
dumb bill, man.
When he said that, I was just looking at him like,
They're going to lose money
Really?
when the customer
was
comes
too.
back around and goes, where the heck's my stuff?
Yeah.
How am I supposed to eat this? Yeah. What am I supposed to eat? Well, you have to ask. Ask. I bought it. What do you think I was going to do?
Yeah.
it was funny. One of the other senators, Senator Huxtable, was talking about when he was over in D.C. not too long ago, going through a drive-through real quick. and they didn't give him anything, and he was really upset about that.
Well,
interesting. But he voted out of committee, though, didn't he?
I don't know.
I bet he did.
Yeah. But of course, the Senate sponsor was like, well, hey, you'll ask next time there, won't you, when you're in D.C.
Yeah. Oh, and they kept going on and on about how this is what New Jersey does and how great that is. We shouldn't be following anything New Jersey.
No, we
is
should
doing.
not. Absolutely not. No.
Some of the places we reference as this, that's is like no,
like
we shouldn't be referencing them.
Washington D.C., New Jersey,
Seattle.
Washington State.
Remember?
I think was one of them.
No,
Was that one of them?
Model,
Oregon or something.
Yeah. And speaking of Seattle. SB 249
the harm reduction.
Yes, the harm reduction
Act.
bill that we talked about. That passed out of House committee.
Ah.
And Seattle was the model for that. And if you've not seen our Facebook page, you need to go look at it. We did a little video that kind of shows, because after the Senator Pinckney, acknowledged on the floor that was the model, we did a little research to kind of see what things look like on the ground right now in Seattle. And it's not good.
I do think it's worth mentioning, though, with 249, it didn't pass out of committee, so House do things a little bit differently.
Yeah. That's right. Yes,
they actually take roll calls during a committee hearing, and admittedly, I didn't really go back and watch. But long story short, it didn't have the votes to get out of committee. Mm-hmm. They ended up the sponsor or whomever walked it.
Yeah,
and a lot of people were mad about that.
I know. I saw somebody
on social media. People were in an uproar because people took time off of work. They came here. They they participated. They saw the vote. They thought, this is great. It didn't get out of committee. And then next thing they know, it signed out. And it's kind of showing people how things go here and how.
Yeah, how the sausage is made.
Bait and switch, yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, always how it seems.
The debate, a lot of the testimony was very powerful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Powerful
because it was individuals who lived it. Actual, you want to talk about experts?
Yeah, these were experts.
People
and these
who
folks,
lived it. Right?
They deliberately showed up there. They all showed up in force, telling me they were coming, and then they watched the sausage get made because I saw them. Hey, we made it, man! I got texts. Hey, man, I win, that kind of stuff. Sure enough, an hour or two later, what is this walk thing? What are you talking about? And I said, well, here's how it works. Yeah. And there it is. Yeah. Here's the laughable thing. If you ask legislators, especially majority, but whatever, committee hearings, it's an important process. It's where the public gets to come in and voice their concerns and listen to the debate and offer up their thoughts, and the legislators get to ask questions. No, it isn't. No, it's where you can force feed onto an agenda numerous bills, hold comments to a minute, and then get votes to move it out from members who never heard any of it. Mm-hmm. Never weren't even there.
Or, I mean, you can, load up the committee with your own people, give the opposition just a couple of minutes, and then say, oh, no, we need public comment time.
Yes.
Hold the public comment. That's all in opposition to it. And then still. Mm-hmm. And then still.
Or have a committee meeting and literally within a half an hour have the bill on the agenda.
Yeah.
After publicly telling people, you have 24 hours to submit public comment.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's always blew my mind, but especially with a bill like this, it's going to have serious ramifications.
Yes.
And
it will.
It is going to hurt our state and our municipalities. And you had, I don't know how many people showed up to testify in opposition, and I would say a large percentage of those individuals, as we said, they lived it. Mm-hmm. They're saying this is going to hurt.
Yeah.
And for the legislators to just completely ignore that, just boggles my mind.
It's a slap in the face to the people that have that lived experience.
Boggles my mind.
Yeah. I agree. Okay, another bill that we need to be keeping an eye on. This was out of Senate committee. It was in Senate committee this week because I heard it. Matter of fact, I think you were in committee. HB 348, Phillips and Hansen, Representative Phillips, Senator Hansen. It updates Delaware's EV rebate program by giving DenRec the flexibility to set rebate amounts and who can receive rebates on electric vehicles. Mm-hmm. And I just want to mention, we've talked before about Reggie and all these funds.
Say, how does that money come in?
It comes from Reggie proceeds that people pay. Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's what they're doing with the money.
So Reggie proceeds that we're trying to get out of to stabilize and possibly reduce electric costs. Those costs are going to people that are buying electric vehicles.
Yes, they're going in the form of a rebate.
Right.
So, but even better, so the changes are that it was a cap like 50 grand. So you could buy the entry level model. Now they took the cap
Right,
off.
it removes that.
And they increased the level of income. So now
Well, they don't get 50,000. It has to do with the eligible vehicle has to have an MSRP of 50,000.
No, that's what I mean.
Right.
Instead of buying the entry level vehicle,
I think Eric,
you can buy.
I think Brian thought you meant they get 50,000.
They get 50,000.
No.
I'm going to buy one just because.
But it should have been like this one. Now you can
Like
get
the
the
Price is
Cadillac
Right,
one,
you know?
and you can be making money do it. But I asked the question. They gave me the information. They've had this program in place for quite a while, and I said, well, how's the success? I mean, obviously that means eventually what's happening is the reason this is there to invite people to buy EVs. Mm-hmm. The more people to buy them that don't buy combustible or regular gas-powered, you're going to see an increase in the number of EVs while a decrease in the number that aren't. Mm-hmm. So I said, well, what's the number? And they showed me it's flatline. It's been like 2.5%.
Yeah. The people that have wanted electric vehicles have gotten them.
Mm-hmm. That's the problem.
People that are out there, I mean, you've got a certain population that are okay with it. Yeah. You've got a certain population that will never buy them for whatever reason, whether it's personal, they don't like it, whether it doesn't fit with their lifestyle or their business, or they don't have a place to plug it in where they live.
And the true story is, if you look at the data of the graphs, there's no zero-sum game where we're zero-sum carbon emissions. If we relied heavily and went all in on the hybrid model, that's really all we need to do.
Yeah.
And people are not offended by hybrid. You have the option of either or. I mean, that's kind of cool. But
look, with electricity prices as high as they are, you want to buy an electric vehicle too.
The last part I want to say that was funny is that you mentioned the Reggie. And one of the arguments was, well, if you did and you gave it back, you're really only giving them $1 or so off of their electric bill each month. But they were on the floor 2 days ago promoting giving them $1 back.
Yeah.
No, okay, but what's funny is the argument was, well, it's death by 1,000 cuts, and Eric's like, yeah. That's what we've been telling you guys for years with these green energy mandates.
And I had just paid my electric bill while I was there because Delmarva Power was like, oh shoot, I got to pay my electric bill,
right?
Because I don't like the auto pay thing. And I was on there and I was looking at all the charges that I'm paying. It was like $17 on my bill.
Yeah.
But again, it's $17 if we didn't have the Bloom charge, if we didn't have the renewable charge, if we didn't have all of this other, the low income charge.
Right. So, and again, like we've said before, I'm okay with helping towards low income bills that need it. But this kind of stuff, people don't want to be subsidizing people buying electric cars.
No.
I think I can speak broadly that people probably wouldn't support that.
Mm-hmm. Let us know what you think in the comments.
Yeah. Okay, so two bills that are kind of similar that I wanted to mention that they both have been signed out of the House revenue and they're awaiting consideration House appropriations. Probably won't go anywhere this year if they're still sitting there, but they're really good bills. They talk about affordable housing. These two bills would actually help with affordable housing.
Okay.
HB 416, Rep. Williams reduces the realty transfer tax, the state
Good
portion, by 0.25%.
Because we are the highest in the United States.
Yes, we are the highest.
With real estate transfer
yes, we
tax.
are. And that whatever it is at the county municipality level, that would stay the same. But it reduces the state portion by 1/4. And then there's another one, actually, you and Rep. Urick, HB 286, and it eliminates the state portion on the transfer tax on residential properties sold for $350,000 or less. And then there's a reduction for houses that are between $350,000 and $500,000.
Okay.
So to me, I like that. It's targeted. That's for the people that really need that. The fiscal notes are pretty similar, but I don't know if either will get signed out. But if we want to talk affordable housing and what we can really do to contribute, that's the kind of policies we need to be pushing forward, in my opinion.
And that's what we need to focus on moving forward with the budget. If we keep having these defect numbers come in, rescuing the budget, what we really need to now focus on is when these defect numbers come in, how can we give the money back to the people?
Right. So we in this budget, and we, like you said, when we started, we passed the budget today, and one of the things that I heard Senator Pardee talk about was the fact that we put things into the budget stabilization, we put things into the reserves, and that's good. We've got to have that piggy bank out there for when the economy takes a downturn, because we've been expecting that for the last couple of fiscal years. DFAC's always saying, well, this year is not bad, but next year is going to be the bad year. Well, the next year seems to be okay. So at some point in time, we're going to have that dip.
Right.
I mean, it's a natural law of economics. do you remember how much our reserves are at now? The budget reserve fund and the stabilization.
Like the stabilization's like 490,000. Trey made a mistake. He said 4.9.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, he said it was like 4.9 million. No, I'm like, it's 400.
Yeah. That sounds more like that.
I thought we were like almost $700, $800 million in reserves.
Okay.
Together, yes, we are.
Not even counting the rainy day fund, the 2% holdback that we have to do constitutionally.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which is why, if you have that, that's why I said we can vote on this budget, because there are a lot of people in it that need help. And we still have the mechanisms, if we get a downturn, to not just seek revenue, but manage it.
Mm-hmm.
But the only way we're going to make it out is we got to stop adding these big fiscal note bills, which is what got us into this.
It is.
I mean, when you look at it as somebody that I'm looking at the budget and looking at these extra costs, they're the fiscal notes for year 2 and 3.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
They're bills that passed a couple of years ago that are now coming to cook, and these are big numbers.
Mm-hmm. And sometimes
$4, $5, $6 million.
And sometimes that's how they'll get a bill passed. They'll put a fiscal note on the bill, but then they have the effective date pushed out.
Yep.
So that we don't really see
you
that.
Don't see it that year.
Right, because they only do it 3 years out, correct?
Yes.
We're dealing with it right now.
Current fiscal year and then 2 years.
Yep.
Yeah, no, I mean it's one of those things we have to be cautious about, and when we're looking at the fiscal notes, we've got to have that longer term view. And how do you think Senator Party's been with finance in this last year? Has he been a little bit better in holding things and
I think
being more cautious?
Trey, to his credit, when it comes to managing the budget, and listen, he said it best. Can you imagine the pressure that he gets? He gets all the fiscal note bills, and he gets people in front of him nonstop saying, "Get my bill out, get my bill out." I give him credit. He's been very good at holding the line and not moving forward. Kim Williams has been the same. The majority party controls the JFC. I don't know if I could have two better chairs. If we're going to have the minority party or majority party in control, I don't know if you could have two better. Maybe we could, but I wouldn't want to find out. I think we got two that are really good.
Here's some of the things. Here's what's scary is those two are really good, and I do think they've done a great job at showing restraint. But there are other Democrat legislators who have been very vocal that they don't even believe we should have a budget stabilization at all. Like, to me, if you manage your household budget that way, I mean,
that's a paycheck to paycheck household.
Right, exactly.
And we can't be a paycheck to paycheck.
Right. I mean, we've been here. Well, it was before I started here, but I was a state employee at the time under Markell when we were really short, and you need backup during that time, or you got to cut stuff.
And one of the things that we really need to do, if we want to grow the state budget, which is going to happen naturally anyway, but one of the things we need to do here is bring better high-paying jobs into the state. We're bringing a lot of retirees in, and that's great, but they're not part of the workforce. They're not paying that income tax like somebody that's working, like a scientist up at DuPont, or anybody that's in public service, or a doctor that's at our hospitals. They're not paying that personal income tax. Yeah, sure. So we need to bring those individuals into Delaware, not like they do in Florida, where they call it what's heaven's waiting room, down in some of those areas in Florida. We need people that are in the workforce here that
I've
are
never
generating.
heard that heaven's waiting room
either. Yeah, that's a new one.
Yeah.
Guest doorstep.
Yeah.
Heaven's waiting room is a little bit more eloquent.
Nicer than that. But we need to make sure that we're bringing people in and creating the jobs that are going to pay well, so that we can have that natural addition into the tax base of Delaware. And I'm not saying, when I say grow our budget, I don't mean like continually grow the budget with stuff. I mean, there's things, cost increase, electricity increase,
right.
Just natural increases in what the baseline of the budget's going to be. But we need to do a better job bringing people in and bringing workers into Delaware.
Yep, agree. Yep, and I think what I will end on is bond bill. We did receive some preliminary numbers today, but they will be meeting on Tuesday.
Did you get any of the information that I asked for yet?
It's been requested.
Okay.
Yes, it's been requested.
Right.
So we should have that hopefully pretty soon.
Hopefully next week we're going to be able to talk about that, because that's one of the things that if they're saying what they're saying about what we're going to be getting in the bond bill this year, I've got a big problem with where some of that spending, not only in this bond bill, but previous bond bills, has been with no consideration of other areas of the state.
Right. Yeah, so
touched on that last year, actually, if I recall.
So stay tuned, because it might be we weren't planning on battling the bond bill.
Have we released the certificate of needs for schools?
I don't believe so.
Yeah, I mean,
you've
got schools that have been in the queue for a while.
I know.
I've got a school, the Charlton School in my district, Cesar Rodney, that serves high needs, handicapped, disabled type children, special needs, and they have been in need of a new constructed facility for quite some time. They should be prioritized.
Yeah. So there's a lot of things in the bond bill that I'm not happy about, and there's some things that are lacking in there as well. So I'll be interested to see that information when we get it.
Yeah. So Brian is doing like a 5-year look back. So we'll have those numbers. We should have them next week. I expect to have them by tomorrow, so we can talk about them next week.
Tomorrow's a holiday, so
yeah. Yeah, I wish. I still probably end up working.
I will too.
June and during legislative session is crazy. So.
Yeah.
But Juneteenth's an important day for
100%. That's not
really
yet. Absolutely. It's not what I'm saying. Yeah. But that's all that I have.
Okay.
Unless anybody else has anything.
No.
Nope.
See, your alarm didn't even go off. We got
My
done
alarm
early.
did not go. I didn't set it. I didn't.
I thought you really did.
No. we got 6 minutes. We got 6 minutes if you want to.
All right.
I didn't do the number.
Root for gold.
So
Root for the gold
How many
team
days
tonight.
are we in next week?
Oh, Blake has something.
They did pass that.
American patriotism. Okay.
Okay.
Interesting.
The roll call is not on the thing. I can't see.
It's probably a voice
It's a
vote.
voice vote in the House. Yeah.
And that's something interesting people might not know. The House can pass something by voice vote.
Only amendments and resolutions.
Right.
Yes.
But we don't have that ability in the Senate.
Right.
Everything
We've
in the
asked
Senate,
for it a few times.
Yeah,
I don't think
everything
I'm
in the
going to ask
Senate
for it
has
again next year.
I actually think we should be making the House do a roll call on everything. I don't think we should do voice votes. I think everybody needs to go on record voting yes or no or not voting.
Okay. Yeah.
Just my opinion.
I mean, if one's got to do it, then the other's got to do it.
Got to do it in committee anyway. Senate, we can just walk out.
That's true.
How'd you guys vote? Oh, we're not going to tell you.
Yeah.
You'll have to find out later. It's
You got
amazing.
to decipher the signatures on the back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the best, they would hand me bills to sign. I said, well, I haven't even heard public comments. Oh, yeah, you're right.
Did we have
Isn't
any
that
bills-
important?
Did we have any Senate bills of ours that passed the House this past week?
I
don't
think
know.
we did, but I have to look to see for
Okay.
sure. I have so many bills in my head right now. I can't even keep them all straight.
There's a lot going on right
I
now.
know. I think 219 passed out of appropriations.
Yeah.
Okay.
And look,
The,
we
the
Military pensions.
we had some bills that were on the agenda today that we thought were going to be on consent and didn't go on consent. And
Well, there it is.
caught some of us off guard, and it's just
That
it's
happens.
how
Keep
it's how
speaking.
June is. It's how June is. But
Yeah.
Speaking.
look,
It is
I'm
what it is.
going to say this. I know there's a lot of viewers that I'm not going to say are necessarily leg haul insiders, but are here that enjoyed watching this. But there's a lot of people that probably aren't, and if you can get here on a day, especially in June.
Yeah.
It's really interesting. We had somebody in yesterday that had never been here before and experienced the how crazy committees are when you've got a senator that's got two committees at the same time or three at the same time.
Right.
Stuff on the floor and all the dynamic environment.
Right. And that's what
June.
people don't understand, because even, this girl is pretty engaged, but even she told me yesterday, how did the senators do this? I said, well, that's why, like on the podcast, for instance, I'm reading the bills because I have the advantage to be able to listen virtually to all these committee meetings, whereas you senators don't have that ability.
Now, I was going to say, we're actually going to do it behind the scenes.
Yes, we are.
Of June 30th.
I was wondering
Do
if
we
you were
have
going to
my-
mention
do
that
we have
today.
my
Yeah,
glasses?
but let me
Yeah,
ask
where
you
are they?
I don't even know the schedule, but are there 3 days or 4? When's 30th? When's the 30th?
A
It's
Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Yeah. So we have
Oh,
we have
so
4
we-
legislative days
Oh,
left
so we've got next week, and then we come back.
Yes.
for Tuesday. Yeah.
See how much I'm just trying to stay above water.
So we got.
Thanks for telling me that.
Yeah. So this is
I knew 30th was the last day. I just didn't know when it was. Oh.
look at Matt's glasses.
Yes.
Oh.
But
I took them for a spin today.
Stuff looks
tell
good,
everybody
man.
about those glasses. What are they?
I mean, they're
But aside from a fashion statement,
Meta. They don't look good on me at all. Meta Ray-Ban
leave your comments about how they
Generation
look.
2 glasses. Yeah, so we're going to do a little behind the scenes of June 30th with either myself or Peyton or whoever. Maybe some senators doing
We should
floor
put them on.
votes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man, I'll do it.
Yeah.
I'll do it.
Oh heck yeah!
I can't imagine, Eric. I can't
heck
imagine
yeah.
following
I'll rock that
following
out.
Eric around for a day would. Give
Let's go.
I mean,
I can't
but it would
imagine.
provide a really
Here's
good.
the problem.
Yeah.
You would just be a blur all day long. Just
I would be drunk. It would be like, yeah.
Chill.
You want to legit behind.
Is there image stabilization on?
Wait, hold on. Hold on. We'll add this into the podcast video available on YouTube. This can be the clip, right?
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. Let's do it.
Oh yeah,
That's
there's
what
a
I
little
said.
little light.
Yeah,
Dude, I
Can
didn't know that.
Can you
Those
turn the
cool
light?
looking glasses.
Can you turn the light off?
I don't know.
So people don't know that.
I don't think so. I was looking in the settings earlier.
You can probably put a
but-
piece of like electrical tape over top.
Very
I think if
astute.
Matt
Yeah,
walks
maybe.
down there with that, they're gonna know. Unless,
I think Alice should do it.
yeah, you could
Yeah,
pull it
got
off.
it.
Peyton could
Yeah.
totally pull it off.
Yeah.
Since I got my wrist slapped the other week for
You also just
allegedly
like,
taking, huh?
You're up to something all the time when you walk down there.
Well, you do.
Yeah.
I would just totally forget they were on, and then I'd say stuff I
Yes,
shouldn't
yeah.
say. I'd
He'd be walking into
in
the bathroom.
Yeah, that's right. I would.
Hope I don't
Be like,
forget
stop
that.
recording. Stop
Yeah.
recording.
Get some really good
Okay,
behind the scenes there.
Do they do
yeah.
live? Does it do live?
I don't know.
I hope not.
No, I don't think so. I
Okay,
don't
good.
really don't think so.
Good.
Yeah, I wouldn't be able to do that.
No, it will be the editing. Yeah, it'll be. I'm sure a lot edited, but
Man's
Yeah.
got
nice little
no
behind the scenes of what's
limitations.
going on. So
Yeah.
yeah.
All right. Well, go gold. I got to head to Newark.
Let's go.
Okay. All
We're
right.
done.
All right.
Yep, we're done.
Peace,
We're
kids.
out.
For the Record is recorded and produced by the Delaware State Senate Republican Caucus. You can find us with the DE Senate GOP handle on Facebook, Instagram, X, TikTok, and Threads. Discover more about our caucus on our website, senategop.delaware.gov.